of times when we interacting with people, we want to perceive our interactions with them based on where we are, instead of listening to understand where they are and why the Lord has put them in front of us based on where they are. Because a lot of times we think that because a person is sitting next to us, or they have been with us while we've been in training and studying to show ourselves approved with the Lord, and that we may be on one accord in some areas, that we're on one accord in all areas. And that's where we fall short. Because reading the same thing does not mean you're understanding the same way. Seeing the same things don't mean that you perceive them the same way, because everybody perceives things based on the sum total of their experiences, also known as their proportion of faith. The things that each individual experiences forms and builds the type of faith that the Lord wants them to have, right? That's why in Romans 12 it tells us to walk according to your proportion of faith, right? Not the proportion of faith of the person next to you, not the proportion of faith of the teacher in front of you, but your proportion of faith, which means the experiences that He has allowed you to endure or caused you to endure is building your proportion of faith. Yours. Not the person next to you, not the person in front of you, not the person behind you, but yours, right? So, a couple of things that we need to keep in mind when we're walking according to our proportion of faith, and then the Lord sends someone to us who has a different proportion of faith than we do, or may be experienced in some areas where we're not, and we're experiencing areas where they're not. Again, tempered body members fit together, meaning you may have something that they don't, and they may have something that you don't, and that exchange, now we have that talent scripture, that exchange needs to take place in order for you guys to see the whole part, right? But again, we want to meet people where we are, and the Lord is trying to equip us to be able to, one, stand 10 toes down on where we are, and then two, be able to acknowledge when someone isn't where we are, and maybe we've progressed past where they are, and that's why He allowed them to come, because we can now reach back to where they are and possibly pull them up to where we are. But again, if you don't have the mental capacity or fortitude or desire or willingness to acknowledge where they are and possibly go back to that place briefly, only to restore them to the perception that the Lord is trying to show them that you have now acquired, then how can the Lord use you? Because the whole purpose in the Lord increasing our understanding beyond what others may understand is so that we can go back and help them understand. Not for us to persecute or condemn them because they don't have an understanding, but to acknowledge that when we didn't have that understanding, the process that we went to get it. And it's the process that we're supposed to share with them or walk with them through. Because sometimes it's not even for you to speak, it's for you to be the example of having that understanding. But again, we just want to condemn. We don't want to remember and reflect on the fact that the Lord is sending them to me because I've overcome that part. And I can now share that part with authority in order to help restore them for God and not myself. Because a lot of times, again, we got to acknowledge that when these people come to us, that pride comes up, and you like, on one hand, I'm over that, I beat that, you need to get like me. And then the Lord like, see, that's why I can't use you. Because see, you keep thinking it's about you, that I only healed you, that I'm only capable of healing you, that I only see you. No. He lets you overcome that and lets you gain an understanding of that and grow past that and walk in that so you can show somebody else how to do it. Not condemn them because they don't know how. Not look at them crazy or look down on them because they're not where you are. And then for those who are witnessing people who, again, may be in a place that you're not in. It's not for you to look down on yourself. It's for you to have hope that that is a place that you can get to. So don't, and again, if that person that is not where you are right now, but it appears that they've progressed beyond where you are, is treating you in a way that is not godly, don't seek them for wise counsel. Because see, their counsel is for them to get the glory, not God. Because if it was for them, if it was for God to get the glory, you wouldn't feel a way. They would come to you humbly and be able to reflect on when they were in your place and comfort you in that place and exhort you to the throne and give you that process of what you should be praying for, because they've prayed for it. So for us who are seeking wise counsel, and for those who are the wise counsel, I charge you to check yourself. Wise counsel comes from you seeing an example of what your struggle is and acknowledging that that person is walking humbly before you request their advice. And for those of us who are providing the advice, it's for us to remember when we were there and how we felt when we were there and how hard it was while we were there, and pull from that place and form your advice or your wise counsel that you provide based on that, not based on the victory that was achieved, but what it took for you to get there.